Okay, so necessity is the mother of invention. We improvise. We work with what we have. Still Stella. Welcome, 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 welcome. Technical. Hi, Frida. So, what's the correct pronunciation of your surname?
Bandi.
Bandi. So you're Miss Frida Yamote Bandi?
Yes.
That's correct?
Yes, correct.
Oh, but it's... Oh, okay. Right. So, Frida, just a small mic test with you. Maybe you could just say a few statements.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm happy to be joining the STEM festival today and
That's it.
sharing my
All right. Thank you so much.
insights.
Okay. So, test done. Thank you. Rolling. What's the charger? Yeah. I'm okay. No shiny forehead face. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Akoto! 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 I know you are there. Come on, Akoto! 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 Come see Capremi, oh! Come see Capremi.
Hello, Alpha.
Come on from
Yeah, the landlady is here today too. She's harassing me this morning. Yes, come and see how I'm sweating.
Well, if I catch you, eh?
Yes, the number I sent you the last time. Yes, use the Jupe app. It will come right now.
Hey, bra. Ah, so when you come to mommy, give me my money. Me, Jimsika.
We didn't know. What your Jupe is here? Yes, Kadana, your Jupe. Jupe is the best money transfer app that is used to send money directly from the US to Ghana free of charge. They have the best rates in the market and they are very competitive. And no thing is Kano Kana Abrosono.
Let me see. She's never had a toothache before. There might be a cavity. Don't you use Pepsodent?
We used to, but I'll try the new one.
Ah, that's why.
But doesn't every toothpaste give cavity protection?
Not really. Pepsodent's Cavity Fighter repairs tiny invisible holes to give 10 times stronger teeth. Will you trust Pepsodent?
Definitely.
Pepsodent, 10 times stronger teeth.
Use Pepsodent's Cavity Fighter.
Akoto!
Welcome to the third edition of the STEM Festival Mentorship Sessions. My name is Lucy Akosua-Fiadonu, and I am your moderator. We continue in our exciting conversations with STEM giants to give us insight as to how we can chart out our paths and, of course, inspire us on to the various and the diverse careers that we can have in this industry. Today, we will be speaking with Miss Frida Yamote Bandi, a star in her own right, data science, STEM communicator, and she'll tell us more. Without much ado, we'll go straight into our conversation with Miss Frida. Miss Frida, how are you feeling? How are you doing today?
Yeah, feeling great. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here and the nice introductions. Nice to hear about myself in that way.
No, you are superb. And a little bit about you, let me share with our audience. Of course, you're a Ghanaian, but you're a digital innovation leader. You're a knowledge manager at the Fab City Foundation, which is in Tallinn, Estonia. And you led great projects such as the Africa Open Science Hardware Initiative, as well as the AI for Agriculture and Food Systems Hub. You hold a postgraduate certificate and in data science from the University of East London. And this is just to say a few things. We'll give you the floor. The platform is all yours. Audience, let's make sure that we get as much as we can from Miss Frida. Miss Frida, please share with us what your background has been, your journey. Inspire us.
Okay, thank you so much, Lucy, for the wonderful introduction.
Yes, we can. Yes, please. We can see your slides.
Okay, okay. So, hi everyone.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Frida Yamote, and as Lucy mentioned earlier, I'm a knowledge manager with Park City Foundation, which is a global organization, fully remote, interested in supporting cities to become more sustainable. So today I will try to speak on the following things I've outlined here in my table of contents. So I will speak on my background.
Recording in progress.
A bit of where I've been, my educational background, the kind of roles that I have had, and some volunteer jobs I've also done, and then how that has gradually shaped my career up until this point. And then I would delve a bit more into the future of work, like with the exposure that I have now, I get to understand a bit what the future of work could look like, and what skills would be needed to remain valuable.
Indeed.
In, where you're heading towards.
Indeed.
And then I would highlight three aspects of my work, and then try to expose our audience to them as well, in case someone would like to explore these fields for the future. So I will speak on knowledge management. I will talk about fab cities, and then I will talk about the paradigm maker movement in Africa. And then I would highlight some career prospects that I believe people can venture into. And then for resources, I highlight some organizations that I've been in contact with that I think are headed towards the right directions and can be followed for more learning, more insights, more resources, more mentorship, and more events, more webinars. So I'd like to share those resources to our audience also, so they could benefit from the work these organizations are doing.
That's
so
superb.
A bit of my background, from reflecting on my educational experiences, including work experiences, I believe that education is a privilege. I would start from my experience growing up in a family where I was the last child. I had my own preferences with, let's say, fashion, what I want to wear and stuff like that. And my mom also had her own sense of fashion, so she would buy certain clothes for me. And I thought about making some money for myself, and then with my friends going to shop every now and then. So it led me to start some small businesses in my neighborhood selling to these Muslim schools on Saturdays. So I would make ice cream, I'll make inkati cakes, I'll make those small snacks. those small snacks that I could sell and make some profit. So at the end of the day, I had some money that I would go to the Medina market with my friends to shop. So from there, I could learn how to take advantages of opportunities all around me, uh, keeping records of my monies and making sure I'm not losing my profits. And then in JHS, I moved on to senior high school. I went to the St. Mary's Senior High School in Kolegono. And it will surprise you that I actually wanted to study visual arts in
Mm.
SHS. Yeah, but my dad wouldn't have it because he felt there were no potential careers that could make you stable in the future. So he wasn't going to have it. But I really liked visual arts because I used to draw some artwork. So I thought I had it in me. But then I was good. I was a good student, so science was also a good option. And then I went on to read general science. And earlier I was telling Lucy that while I was in SHS, I wasn't quite. Made some life decisions that I was going to change my ways. I was going to take my academics more seriously. I was going to take life seriously. So I got the opportunity to read biochemistry, and initially
Someone
I
says the
had no
sound is
idea.
off.
The sound is off. Hello.
Sorry, please go ahead.
Okay, so initially, I had no idea what biochemistry was and what the career perspective that field was. But when you are in senior high school, the conversation has always been around pursuing medicine, pharmacy, and then if you don't get those two, you fall into the biochemistry, botany, animal biology, psychology, and stuff like that. And I don't think we had opportunities to get to understand what these different things are, what we could do with them, how we could study, and also I would say one of the gaps missing at the senior high school level is that exposure to the world. Because I don't think when you're in the senior high school, you are a child,
Okay.
and on the other hand, you are also not a child.
You're in a dilemma.
Yes, it's in between, and I don't think we should um, engage people at the not children, people at the senior high school levels as children. I think when things are explained to them in plain language, they have the ability to understand.
Absolutely.
So we need to give back more to the senior high school levels. We need to guide them, we need to teach them, we need to expose them to what's like the world beyond school, what it looks like, and how they can prepare themselves to do that.
Absolutely.
So I'm really happy. I'm really happy to get the opportunity to give back. I don't think I've spoken to a group of high school students since I graduated, so I'm really happy that STEM Festival has given me this opportunity.
We're pleased also to have you.
Yeah. So then I didn't have that, let's say, mentorship to choose a course, but I have ended up in biochemistry.
Right.
And because of my experienced in my grades in my like WASI exams, I had still purported in my heart that I wasn't going to fail at biochemistry. But when we started, it was hard. It was hard. It was very hard.
Oh dear.
Yeah, it was very hard. Like I can recall those chemistry lectures where we were about a 200 in the lecture hall, and the lecturer was speaking with his natural voice. So there was no aid of a microphone, and he's teaching organic chemistry. He's talking about bonds and carbon and movement of electrons, and you can be sitting way behind. You cannot hear. So like it's hard to understand. It's hard to practicalize. Yeah, so it was difficult. So but I think that if resources are available in a certain sense, then some of these courses will not be as abstract as they are. But then I believe we are getting there, like slowly but not getting there. So I went through all those difficulties, but Akosia was mentioning in the previous session that she ventured into sales and marketing.
Yes.
But after JHS, I put off my entrepreneurship cap.
Okay.
I got into like a capacity building program. So in uni, I would attend a lot of these seminars, career job fairs, like those sessions that teach you different skills, social entrepreneurship. I just kept attending those sessions, and I had another. I'll call him a mentor from my previous church who was at the Career and Placement Center on Legon campus. So he also guided me with some opportunities, and I took full advantage of them.
Fantastic.
And one of the things I decided to do in uni was to intern. So right from the first year,
right,
I interned at a hospital, and even though I learned a lot, I also understood that working in the hospital was not my thing, and I was not going to pursue it full time. So I could strike hospital work
out of your list of what careers you could.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. And then I got the opportunity to work at the Tema Lube Oil Limited or something like that.
Yeah, that's correct. It still exists today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And there we used to run some tests on the oil products that we had, check the density, the velocity. And it was great. There were some perks, but I also knew that I didn't do well in routine environments. So I crossed that kind of laboratory setting work out of my list as well. Then in third year, I worked at the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission. I went into research to see how they were doing. And these issues with resources and stuff like that.
Yes,
so not much research was going on over there.
Okay.
They did their best to teach us, but we couldn't experience
what it was that's, the theory.
Yeah. So it was still very theoretical. So I strike that out as well.
Right.
If we don't have the nurturing environment, then there was no point in going into that field, right?
But Frida, you're striking a lot of things off. What would you have left?
Exactly. So one of the key things that I would like to share about choosing your career is that you might not know what you want to do, but at least you can identify what you cannot do. So
Please, if you could repeat that.
yeah. So I learned from those experiences that I might not know what I want to do, like what I desire to do, but I can identify what I cannot do,
Right.
what things do not serve me.
Right.
And so
That's
I
powerful.
I after uni, even before graduation, I got a gig to do a teaching job for a month, and I took advantage of that. I remember striking a deal with my dad and calculating my transportation and telling him that, I have this job, I don't have any money to transport myself there. So kindly loan me this amount of money and let me get this job done. I will pay you back. I didn't pay back, but like I started to hone my negotiation skills.
Absolutely.
Skills from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that has been the journey from SHS
Right.
up to uni. It was tough, but there were opportunities all around that I took advantage of. So beyond the biochemistry, there were other skills that I had, like teaching, like writing, a bit of sales, laboratory work, like a bit of everything.
Everything, yeah.
And another highlight would be the presence of mentors and like godfathers, people who have done what you're doing, and so remove most barriers from your path, so that you don't need to go through all the challenges that
Right.
they went through.
Right. Yeah.
I have the feeling that now people buy into trends a lot, like for senior high school levels. Like we want to follow the people on social media, like the fancy things people show online. It's like they're making money from doing something, like all those things that you don't have full knowledge of. They're nice, but they're not the real stuff. And there are a lot of people in your circle, like at home, at church, your lecturers. Those people in real time are doing things that by engaging them, asking the right questions, you can already get to know things that put you ahead of your peers. So there's no point having these mentors and godfathers around you. Then you ignorantly go past them and then are influenced by people you see on social media that you have no idea how they make things happen themselves. So I would say that. And then moving on to why I say education is a privilege, because I've learned not to complain about the way biochemistry was, the resources we had, what we didn't have, because I also understand that there are many people in remote areas, in rural areas, that don't get the opportunity of the kind of education we have. And so if you are fortunate enough to have someone paying school fees, you're fortunate enough to be able to go to good schools like the University of Ghana, KNUST, UDS, UPSA, like you are already blessed enough.
Right.
You are within the playing ground to make your life change.
Fantastic.
And the point is that take advantage of that opportunity. The university is a place for higher education, which means that the way you used to think in SHS, now you have different opportunities to evolve, to think differently, to see problems differently. So you're not complaining all the time, but you are thinking about how can I make this better? How can I contribute? I call myself a general science student. What can I do to help us do better? How can I help my younger siblings? So you are already removing this Ghanaian, I don't want to call it Ghanaian, but it's like how we are raised, our culture. Like if I don't have this, then I can't do that. But if you don't have this, then what do you have? And what can you do with
what you have? Yes.
Yes, what can you do with it? So like just see the privileges all around.
See
We
the
might not
privileges,
be like Europe, we might not be like the USA, but there's something, and you can make use of it by the guidance of mentors and godfathers around. So that takes me to my next slide, where I will speak on the future of work.
Frida, sorry, before you just go in there, let me just ask a quick question.
Okay.
I'm just hearing that you finished the University of Ghana Biochem, and of course, knowing that your father wanted you to take this particular part, take the science part, if I'm right. And I'm not hearing a permanent job. So I'm just concerned. Well, my question is, what happened? Did you get a permanent job post-service? And how was studies interaction with you in terms of the career choice, etc.? I just wanted us to get a feel of that.
Okay, so backtrack a bit. So right after uni, I was very tired. I was very tired of studying. I was very tired of biochemistry. So I decided to take some time off the usual science studies and do something else. So I was blessed enough to work on a farm. It's called the Amahia Dairy Farm for NSS. And aside the new things I got exposed to, yogurt manufacturing, taking care of cattle.
But that's still science.
Yes, that's science, but wasn't the biochem abstract protein structures, organic carbon bonds, like it was different a bit. It was
More practical. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, more practical. But I could see the challenges. With the work that they were doing on the farm. Like they had some huge machinery that wasn't working, so many of the things they were doing were still manual. So it led me to start thinking about what could we do with the science that we know. So I started looking online for, events, workshops around biotechnology. That would have been a merging of the biochem and then technology.
Yeah.
And I was privileged enough to get into this program. It's called the Africa Open Science Hardware. And it was, for me, when I attended that summit, it was very eye-opening because there were people from all over the world coming into Ghana to speak on science. That wasn't the kind of science I was used to. So they had access to things like 3D printers, laser cutters, digital fabrication. They were doing building products for use on the farm. Like they were doing amazing projects in the science that I knew. So it piqued my interest. And so after NSS, I understood that, well, the science that I know is not the only science that exists. And there might be something else somewhere that could be of interest. So I think throughout this period, I really wasn't thinking about a permanent job. I don't think I was thinking about a permanent job. And I'll say that would also be a privilege if you have a family that supports you in a way that lets you become creative.
Okay.
Because, yeah, there could be some people from families where they cannot afford to be creative because they need to make ends meet. So I understand that as well.
Yeah, hence my question, because there are a lot more of us that don't have that privilege. And so once you did the biochem and got a good grade, by all means, you needed to start finding a job. And by 6 months down the line, if you're not getting a job, then frustration sets in. And then, you're all over the place. So I really wanted us to get a sense of how that turned out for you. And thank you for sharing with us that you had that support. And again, you're showing that that is very, very important, as much as the mentors and then the godfathers, you say, that are just next to us, not the ones that we, untangibles, the ones we cannot see, that we see on trend, etc. But the ones that are close to home, we should quickly know that they're doing in real time work. And so we need to get close to them and then tap from them.
Right.
Yeah, so please continue.
Right. Yeah, I also just want to add that I mentioned earlier, my sister was ahead of me. She had read general science.
Okay.
And she had gone on to do NSS. She got retained. She was promoted and all of that. And so one thing she used to hint on when I was in uni by third year was that start applying for jobs for NSS. And at that time, I thought, like, let me relax. I'm in third year. I have fourth year until NSS. But then she'll be like, you don't know how these things work. And like, there's so many of you finishing.
That's true.
If you wait until the end, you're going to get frustrated because you might be posted somewhere you don't like and all that. So by third year, I had my CV. I was applying to jobs. I did some interviews.
Wow.
That's how I got the teaching gig after. So
Right.
I would also mention that apart from monetary support, like having people who had done this before me and knowing the challenges they had gone through, they would, like, I had people saying that, hey, don't wait, start now. And so that also helps. So if you're here watching and you're thinking about a permanent job and stability, like, I'm here to say that start now. It doesn't matter if you're in first year, second year, third year, fourth year.
Just start.
Now.
Just start. I think that's the takeaway. Just start. It doesn't matter the time, day, place. Just start. Just start. Yes.
Have that CV. Ask someone to lead you with. Talk to an organization. Ask to intern. Ask to do a job. Ask to help. And like in my next life, you see me talk about the kind of skills that will make you valuable. Because without some skills too, you can be given an opportunity, but
retaining the opportunity. Yeah.
So you need to also prepare yourself so that when that opportunity presents itself, you can take full advantage of it. So I did have my sister trying to nudge me in the right direction too. So I was doing those applications. Like I did a lot of applications, a lot. I got a lot of rejections.
It's part of the journey. The rejections, they are all part of the journey.
I did. And so when I actually got into that summit, the Africa Osh Summit, I was like, when did I apply for this? Why did I apply? Because I was doing so many applications, I couldn't keep track of what I had applied for.
Wow, surprise. Yeah.
Yes, I had to go back into my emails, find application, read about them, because so
right.
But then when I got the opportunity, I also applied to do a presentation on my experiences on the farm and what I think the future can look like for biotechnology. And I remember that on the day when I had to present, I was checking myself, like, I was asking the organizer that I really wasn't expecting to see all these people here. So can they just take me out of that jet?
Please, no.
But you know how these Europeans can be?
No.
They wouldn't let you say.
No.
Yeah, timidity, like they were not going to have it.
No.
She kept saying, like, you are going to do your presentation, irrespective of what you have prepared, what you have not prepared. Just do it. Share what you know.
Sure.
And I'm glad I was able to do that. And that opened doors because the job that I did after NSS, I didn't have to apply for. It was one of the organizers had his own tech hub called Kumasi Hive. And once I was done, I asked, "Do you have any opinion rooms for me that
Mm.
I could add my skills?" And then he asked me, "What can you do? Can you be a community manager?" But then at the time, I wasn't so confident. I was like, for a managerial role, I don't think I've built my
Enough
capacity to do
capacity, yes. But don't sell yourself short. I believe that was what he
that.
was
True,
thinking. Yeah.
true. But then he asked, "Okay, so what could you do?" And I'm like, "I can write.
Mm-hmm.
I write laboratory reports. I write so many reports in uni, so I can write." So he asked me, "Share something you have done, a publication." And then I'm like, "No, I don't have a publication, but I have this business report that we did after our entrepreneurship course in uni." So
Mm.
he's like, "Okay, share that." And then I shared it, and he's like, "You know what, come over." So I packed my bags from Accra, and I went all over to Kumasi. Having lived there, having been there, grew up in Accra, born in Accra, raised in Accra, schooled in Accra. But I just took that opportunity and then went to Kumasi. No family, lived on
Mm-hmm.
my own, figured things out. Yeah, so it
Wow.
was really interesting. Yeah, so taking those opportunities, I would say, like, in our human sense, we are very weak. Like, I cannot tell what I did 2 weeks ago. Like today, Wednesday, 2 weeks ago. I cannot tell what will happen in the future,
Of course.
right?
Yeah.
But what you can do is that with the opportunities you have now, if you're able to maximize it, it leads you to the next opportunity and then to the next opportunity. I had no idea that I would work in a global organization. I would have the opportunity to attend global conferences, to speak to a global audience when I was working on a farm
Mm-hmm.
in Darfur.
In Danfa.
I had no
So
idea.
how did you switch from the Kumasi Hive into Fab Cities?
Yeah, so I would, since my slide is here, I would
Please.
use that. I will use that to talk about the future work. So in Kumasi Hive, we did a lot of things from software development, entrepreneurship, climate change project, gender inclusion project,
Mm-hmm.
biolab project. So like they were different and diverse. And what that meant was that you needed to keep learning. You needed to keep learning. You needed to be able to use technology, adopt quickly. Um, you needed to communicate with people who don't come from Ghana, people who have different accents, people who have different cultures. You needed to be resilient because sometimes you are implementing a project, you don't have the funding to do it, but then you need to achieve the results, right? But some of these skills you will not build them um, when you have the job. You will build them when you are in senior high school and you have the opportunity to be a senior school prefect or a class prefect or a dining hall prefect, or you have an opportunity to be involved in a club, to join the National Science and Maths quiz, to be in the robotics club. You
Yeah.
have those opportunities that you might not know how all those things are shaping you, but they are.
Mm.
You are better off involving yourself in those than not, right? That's what prepares you for the job where they say that, okay, I'm going to make you a manager, I'm going to make you, like, there will not be a new you all of a sudden. It will be the same old you that has evolved over
Over
time.
time.
So
Absolutely.
you build those skills right from senior high school. And don't assume a place of a child, because children are like creatures who have no sense of responsibility and urgency, right?
Mm.
So if you assume that place, then you would wait up until you are wearing your graduation gown after university, and that is when you start to think about what can I do, where can I find a job, and that's almost too late,
Too late,
right?
yes. Yeah.
So assume some level of responsibility at the senior high school level. Nurture some curiosity, nurture some creativity. Take advantage of those club setups, those events you have at the senior high school level, National Science and Maths with STEM Festival. take advantage of it and build yourself up gradually for the future of work, right? So in Kumasi High, all these skills come to play, right? And in my slide, I'm showing here on one end a 3D printer, and then on another end a mobile phone with AI written play,
Right.
and on another end remote working, right?
Right.
So in Kumasi High, after Kumasi High, or during my time in Kumasi High, I felt like I had worked there for close to 5 years, and I like wanted new challenges. I wanted to do something else. So I was back to applying again. I applied to different places, different conferences, different summits. And then one time I see this organization do a post on LinkedIn. It wasn't a job ad. They were just posting something. And I thought it was interesting. So I go find their website, find an email, send them an email with my profile. I'm Frida. I have a background in this. I've run these projects. I have these skills, and I think that I can help you do this and that. I can help you do communications and project management. And then I sent that email, and I got a response. Initially, a negative response. They're like, "Oh, we don't have any openings, but if anything comes up, we'll let you know." And after a month, they get back to me with an offer, right? I didn't even have to do like a strict interview. Just a chat. They got to know me, and then they're like, "Okay, we think you can help us do this, that." And then we went ahead. So you could, if you're following the conversation, you would see that the traditional ways we used to land jobs, it doesn't really flow like that anymore, right?
Yeah.
And one of the skills I highlight in my slide is social influence, having a network. But to stay valuable in that network, you need the right skills. So the future of work definitely is going to be remote work. And to be able to work remotely with other people, you need some skills. Communications, you need to be able to collaborate with people. You need to be able to communicate what you're thinking to someone who cannot see you and will not see you probably over a year or 2 years, right? You need to be able to self-manage yourself. Okay, like going back to senior high school, we used to say that, what's the point of prep? What's the point of waking up at a certain time, going to dine in at a certain time? But the point is that you are being taught how to self-manage. So by uni, by your job, no one is going to say that finish your work by this time, start at this time. So all those skills are leading up to how you can self-manage in the work environment. And right now, we cannot talk about the future of work without AI. We cannot talk about the future of work without digital technologies, right? And in where we are headed towards, something like a Google Doc, like working on Microsoft, right? Excel, PowerPoint, a Word document, writing on a Word document, changing fonts, those are going to be like very basic skills. Like no one is going to ask you if you can use the Excel, if you can make petty calculations in Excel. We are going to assume that once you are in the university, you are computer literate. Okay, so that's like a level ground. Like you have no excuse to say that I don't know how to use Microsoft. I cannot type a letter. Like it is basic. And then we move on to things like artificial intelligence, right? It's artificial intelligence is doing a lot for us. We can write, we can strategize, we can have videos done by AI, and we can collect data on plants, diseases, and predict and things in agriculture. So like these things are now a higher level of digital technologies that you need to be able to know to thrive in the future. So we are moving from that traditional way of working. Like if you're a doctor, you're a doctor. If you're a teacher, you're a teacher. If you're a nurse, you're a nurse. You can be a doctor and know how to use AI for your work. You can be a doctor and have good communication skills. And you can become like a community manager plus a doctor. Or you can have a business because you're a doctor but you're good at marketing or sales. So you can have a business providing maybe consultancy services for hospitals so that the possibilities of the future of work are wide.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you need to know the skills to remain valuable. Right? So I will move on to speak about what some of those skills
are. Absolutely.
And yeah, sometimes we are quick to talk about the technologies. The technologies are important, but people skills, they do a lot. If you have someone that can communicate really well, right? That person might be more valuable than no. I'm using the word might be more valuable than someone who can build like things, right? Like for example, if you go to an organization, the manager in the organization will earn more than the person that does the daily work, because the manager in the organization has good communication skills, good managerial skills. Even though you have the technical skills, the manager will be earning more because of that people skills he has developed over time. So in the skills I highlight here, I talk more about people skills because, technology can be learned. If you watch a couple of YouTube videos, you can know how to probably build a website with WordPress. You know how to calculate on Excel sheets. Like sometimes, don't stress yourself out with figuring out all the technologies. Sometimes I'm doing work and I'm literally in ChatGPT asking, how can I grade a photo in WordPress? And ChatGPT just outlines different options. And then I try this, it doesn't work. I try this, it doesn't work. I tried it, it works. And I've learned a skill. And I'm doing all of that with ChatGPT, right? But you don't need to know the technology before you can do the job. I don't know if I'm communicating well. Like you don't need to be so flapped up in the like tech this, tech that, tech that. You can learn it, right? But some of the skills that you cannot easily learn, or you need some extra things to navigate around, is like your ability to adopt technology, right? Some people would say that AI is negative, AI is that. But the people that have been able to learn AI quicker are the people who are now enjoying the benefits of having the skill.
That's
right?
true. That's
people
true.
Yeah, and then you would have been late if you are now catching
Up, yeah.
AI.
You're late to the
You are
party.
You are late because people are already catching up. People like Akosia will say are already catching up, right? But then it's a skill that you build from scratch. Okay, like I will always refer back to senior high school. Sometimes there are new rules that come up. They say don't do this anymore, don't do that anymore, and then you are quick to complain. Like, why shouldn't I do what I've been doing? All this. Why are you asking me to do something?
This is the way we've been doing it. You know that line?
Yes.
This is how we do it.
Yes. Yes. And then it takes you a long time before you change. Okay.
Yeah. Frida, I think what I'm also hearing is unlearning as you learn.
Unlearning. True. You're right. So like be quick to unlearn. Like you see that what you're doing is bad or could be better.
It's obsolete.
Be quick to learn be quick to learn what's new. Be quick because like that skill is what you will use in the future when you are at a job in India. Like, no, we are no longer using this technology. Instead of forming a group with your friends at work to assess the thing and what your manager said right and what they didn't say, and they not understanding all from the beginning. Because you have been building yourself.
I see that scenario. I see that scenario. Yeah.
Yes. Like be quick to learn what's possible. And that's a mindset to have. Possibilities.
Right.
You hear something, you're thinking possible. Not challenges, possibilities. Opportunities, right?
That's true.
So that's a skill that I can't go over everything, but I already mentioned self-management.
Yes.
Being emotionally
Intelligent, yes.
Because like when I got my grades from SHS, I could have decided that okay, maybe I'm not good enough, maybe my friends are better, I didn't get the 7 A's, and my life will not turn out well. Yeah, but like I decided that no, I think I am capable of more, and I think I'm going to try to do better, right? So be emotionally aware, and then like try to strive for more than you currently have. And then I will touch on collaboration.
Please.
Yesterday we did an activity at a workshop,
Mm-hmm.
and in the activity they handed over like a sheet that we were supposed to do some painting.
Painting.
In 2 minutes, yeah, painting. In 2 minutes, they ask you to swap to someone else's chair. So you don't take your sheet, you leave your sheet, and then you go continue someone's painting.
Wow,
And
that would be
I could see
a fun activity.
difficult.
Difficult?
Fun and difficult. Yeah, because you don't know what the person had in mind or what they're
Yes.
trying to do.
Yes.
But you need to continue. Okay. And that's also a good skill in the future of work. Sometimes you don't understand fully what's happening, but your ability to adapt, your ability to contribute to what people have already started is a good skill that you might not necessarily be taught in school, but there are opportunities that nurture that skill within you. And this skill will do a lot for you than technology will. Like if people see that they can easily collaborate to get things done with you, you are an asset. Because not many people can do that. Like people have their own ideologies, philosophies, like they see things like people cannot be led. People cannot submit. Like sometimes people say that my boss is a woman, I cannot hear her out. My boss is younger than I am, and I feel like I have more ideas than my boss. Like that's the same way you say that.
Frida, you're really striking some chords there.
Yeah,
It's the reality.
these things from,
It's the reality.
From when we were young. It's like maybe the school prefect says that we are sleeping at 5 a.m. And then maybe the science students you are will say that maybe at 5 a.m. your cognitive ability.
You see you.
Yeah, like you need to be studying, not sleeping. Like you are learning how to not be collaborative from that. Yeah. So I'm just highlighting the fact that these skills that we mentioned here, like they sound like big words or something, but they are really those things that we've been doing.
No, Frida, I would say that thank you so much for highlighting these skills and breaking them down to where they all begin. You know, sometimes you're not mindful of what, where the origins of these skills, and you have really broken it down for us to say, as far back as your SHS, joining a club, readers club, dance club, gunsa, and all of these, that's where you begin to build the skills. This practical example of the self-management, true, very true that. That's how we begin to build these skills, because then later on in life, you're not able to collaborate, and that's a big thing. And I thank you for saying that. True, if people don't get to see that they're able to collaborate with you to deliver, you're not top of mind. You cannot be called for the next project and you're here thinking, why am I not moving forward, etc. But these are the things. And so, bless you. Thank you so much for bringing this home to us.
Yeah. Not to use mark time, I'll just go quickly to the next slide.
Absolutely.
I want to talk a bit about what I do and
At Fab Cities, we're interested. I'm
yes.
very interested. I know you're doing a pedo to a dito. We really want to understand what that means and how that, plays out in our world. Maybe you go straight into that for us.
Okay. So I would.
Hello, Frida. You're still on? Okay, you're still on.
Yes.
All right.
Sorry about that. But I think my slides are not showing now.
No problem. But please still continue to deliver. We'll work on the tech in the back. Yes.
Okay. So just merging knowledge management, Fab Cities, and then maker spaces. I'll try to speak about them together.
Yes,
so
please.
that I don't use water. So, when I first heard about knowledge management, it was when I was getting into the job. I didn't know what it was, right? So, also to say that you can remove that myth about knowing about everything in order to get an opportunity. Sometimes the skills you already have are good enough to land you into your next opportunity. So with knowledge management, I think that every organization applies knowledge management strategies. For some, it is formalized, others it's informalized, but like it still happens, right? So in this slide, you would see a simple cycle of what knowledge, the pathway for knowledge management is, and it's to create, curate, organize, share, and utilize. I'll use a project to just describe this process, and then we can move on. We all communicate with people every day, right?
Yes.
And knowledge, insights are found in people. So, as a knowledge management person, your main task is to be able to bring out those insights from people when you work with you. Else, they leave with that knowledge. And then it brings inefficiencies because if, say, the person was running a project and you didn't bring out all those knowledge from them and they leave, whoever is going to take up that project will now have to start from scratch, face the same challenges, and like in essence, you are using more time.
Yes, more resources. You're right.
More resources, right? So knowledge managers or the knowledge management strategy is very key for organizations that want to increase their efficiencies. And if you're wondering how I can get into knowledge management, it's just being able to identify data and information that are necessary to your goal. So if you're running, let's use the National Science and Maths quiz.
Yes,
right?
please,
There
yes.
will be people attending. The guys in the competition itself.
And the girls in the competition as well.
And the girls. I'm sorry, the girls. Yeah, and then partners, and then sponsors, and alumni, like they are different. Now, if the partners of NSMQ want to understand what the impact of this has been, they would have like some quantitative data and they will have qualitative data, right?
Yes.
Both work hand in hand. Quantitative data, I mean, they would have numbers.
Okay.
And then qualitative data, how people feel, people's impression of the program.
Okay.
And both are important for measuring impact, right? So if you are a knowledge manager irrespective of what you studied in school, you can be able to nurture the skill of counting, and you can be able to nurture the skill of asking the right questions.
That's correct.
How did this actually make you feel? So it's not difficult. It's not difficult. So you are going to count the number of people who were present, the number of people who supported you, and sometimes you would use what we studied in SHS, like you find the median.
Yes.
Because on some days the number was too high, on some days it's too low. So if you find an average, it won't be a good representation of the data. So you use that what we learned in senior high school to do that math. Right? So we are calling ourselves knowledge manager and the rest, but we are actually just using the knowledge from senior high school, right?
Right.
So you can use all those skills to find a good representation of the number of people that participated in the National Science and Maths quiz. And then you ask yourself, how did people feel about it, right? So you can go to Twitter, you can go to Facebook. There are people leaving comments about the session, like you can see the hype.
Of
or
course.
You can see that someone come and say that, so all this National Science and Maths quiz, what innovation have they started? Like I get those comments sometimes, like what product have they done? What are these students going on to do? Blah blah blah. And I see that the STEM festival is like a build up of that.
Thank you so much. You're doing all of the PR for us. And answering that question. Absolutely. You're so right.
Yes. So with the knowledge, with the impressions, with the way people feel about the National Science and Maths quiz, then the organizers are like, okay, then let's do a
STEM festival. That's true.
Where people can practicalize. So that's the work of the knowledge manager. Understanding the numbers, understanding how people are feeling, and collating them, putting them together. And then you're like, okay, our next step would be, or recommendation would be like, let's do the STEM festival, where we have all these amazing people who have gone through what the high school students have gone through and are doing amazing things in their workplaces. Let's have them share how senior high school education has helped them shape their careers.
Spot on.
Yeah. So that's knowledge management. That's knowledge management, right?
Yeah.
So in the next part of the cycle, we say is curate, right? Because sometimes the data, and you have data on participants, on online viewers, on partners, on some are giving monetary support, some are giving some other support. So you as a knowledge manager will try to put this data into forms that if someone was looking at it, they would understand entirely what has happened. Like it's like in your kitchen, you're not going to mix your onions and let's say tomatoes in. You don't store them in one place because one is hard, one needs refrigeration, one can be let in the air like that. So you don't mix them up, right? So in the same way, there's data that you cannot mix up so that people can follow, right?
Okay.
So as a knowledge manager, your one skill that you have is to be able to see what fits where. And we all have that because we all do that. Some people arrange their clothes in colors and some arrange. We all have that skill. And you can bring that into the workplace, right? And then we talk about organizing and then disseminating. The point of knowledge is to disseminate.
The point of knowledge is to disseminate.
Yes, there's no point in having knowledge and then sitting on it.
And how would that pan out in the future? We just have a few more minutes, so we really want to look at the future as a knowledge manager.
Okay, so I would go to the slide on the career prospects.
Yes, please.
So how these skills help out in your choice of careers, right? Your ability to be able to create knowledge, identify knowledge, organize knowledge, share it, right? And what like some of these things are just worded in big words, right?
Semantics.
Yes, semantics. Sharing is social media. Sharing is what we are having here at STEM Festival today. Sharing is talking to your parents about concepts, right? That is sharing, right? So as a knowledge manager, you already do this in your everyday life, like it's done. You just need to, the reason why I am a knowledge manager, maybe someone is a doctor, is because you just learn the finesse around it, and that comes with time. The more you do it, the more you are better at it. Now, what can you do with these skills? You can be a knowledge manager. You can be a content creator. For us now, social media is everywhere, right? And you can use it to your advantage. If you can identify what's helpful to people, you can share it, and you can build your skill as a content creator. You can become a strategic manager, right? Because you know all these things, you can see into the finer details, and you can zoom out and see the bigger picture, right? So you can tell your organization that if we have a STEM festival, let's target high school students and not people who are already working, because maybe they might not find so much value in what is being shared. So your ability to think from the bigger point of view, and then the finer details, and then you are a full strategic manager, able to give good input to your organization. And sometimes organizations don't have these roles. You can offer to do this for them, and then you have a job. You can go to companies around and say that, hey, I'm able to do this, I'm able to do that, and I think it helps you in this way. And then they just coin a title for you as strategic manager. And my last few words, like this Fab cities and maker spaces, they are the future now. Okay, like we know that in Africa we import most of the things we consume. Okay, and that makes us economically, right? So the idea of maker spaces is that you have these open spaces where people can come and collaborate and build things and learn skills in digital fabrication, IoT, robotics, like that. They are just like a science lab, but in a more hardware focus, right?
Right.
And these things, through research, have been proven that they have the ability to nurture creativity.
Absolutely.
Right? And I want, if you're a high school student, I just want you to go online and then Google maker spaces. Try to read about it a bit. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just through that, you will find me, and I'm happy to tell you more about this. And then finally, there's some organizations that do these stuff already in Ghana. Oh, I'm missing that slide. Sorry. So you might have heard of Dext technology.
Of course, yeah.
Science set, and they do these kinds of things. There's a mega space also called ANX. There's a Digital and Technology Institute. You can check out the Fab City organization website as well. But all these organizations are promoting the skills that we need, like collaboration, digital communication, and self-management. They are demonstrating how these things can coming together for the future of work, right? So, like, feel free to use this knowledge to your advantage. Like, don't sit on it. Use it to your advantage. Okay. I'll try to end here, and then if there's any question, I will answer. Thank you so much, Lucy.
Thank you so much, Frida. It's been a wonderful time with you, insightful. I have a takeaway. I'm connecting with you right after this via the socials and learning more knowledge management. I'm actually quickly looking at what course I'll quickly take right after here to quickly hone in my skills. I'm with you, and I love the way you have broken the skills down to where they actually originate for. And then I don't mind repeating it again to say that go back into your SHS, go back into the skills. All of those times, there were skills that you began to hone in, your skills that you began to learn and develop. And those are the ones that will take you through your journey. Frida, we're so grateful for the time you have given us. And audience, you have been equally wonderful staying with us through up until now. And of course, all of that which we have done today and will continue to do in the next 15 days to come have been proudly brought to you by Primetime Limited in partnership with Pepsodent, with support from Jupe Money Transfer, Bell Beverages, YFM, and GTP. Today, again, they've helped me with support from Millie K, clad me in this wonderful attire, and all together to continue to empower all of our young minds and to nurture them, that they are our next generation of innovators, and together we can make the world a better place. We'll see you on Monday. We'll be live on our socials, STEMFest GH, NSMQ on our Facebook. We're also streaming on YouTube. Look out for the Primetime Limited channel and join us. You can go back to the years before, all of the conversations that we've had, and join us when we're live again. We'll catch you. Bye now.